What up, what up, what up? It's your favorite podcast with your favorite podcast host. Talking your favorite podcast message. Talking the favorite podcast stuff. What's happening? It's Freewenow. It's Freewenow. Freewenow. It's Freewenow.
Till it is. 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 It is. It is. Backwards.
What up, what up? We back. It's Freewenow.
Till it is. The opposite of front. Words.
What up, man? We back. And we starting for one for the ladies. So I thought, you know what I'm saying? Proverbs 31. We get into Proverbs 31 today. Before we get into that, what you got for the people?
Hey, man, before we get into this very extensive, as you say, poem, hey, let me give a shout out to, the important women in my life. Let me shout out my mom, my sister, my nieces, my grandmas, all of the women that had an impact on me. Like Proverbs 31 definitely lays out a list of things that a woman or a wife should be. And I think a lot of times I don't give praise to the women in my life and how much, they impacted me. And, shout out Ma Dukes the most. She gave me life, but she also did the most important thing was introduce me to God.
For sure. For sure. Shout out to the women in my life as well. You made me, you know what I'm saying? Can't leave my
listen to it.
Go ahead. All right. So Proverbs 31, as I stated, I originally thought this was for the women. But in reality, it's kind of 50-50.
It is 50-50. Definitely for the men too.
It's definitely for the men too, right? And so I'm looking at this and, Proverbs 31 is one of those things it's become this almost like viral tag that women have used and almost made it kind of like too casual.
Yeah.
After reading, because I never really knew what was in Proverbs 31. I just knew whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, she trying to be on her God thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she trying to do right.
I'm saying, queen, okay,
queen,
see you, queen.
Okay, I see you. Proverbs 31 women. She trying to get her life together.
Yeah.
That's as much as I knew about it. But today, I realized it's a lot deeper than that, right?
A lot deeper.
You know what I'm saying? So, right, just to set the scene, right? So it says King Lemuel, right? And I'm like, who the heck is King Lemuel, right? So, it's kind of like rumor mill, tribal knowledge. This is the only time we hear that name, right? So it's not really prominent throughout the Bible. And it's almost believed to be a pen name, right? Or, a way for, an artist to kind of hide behind their work, right? So when they're saying King Lemuel, it's believed to be, hey, King Solomon is in third person referring to himself, right? And so I thought it was pretty dope because it starts out with like basically a mother giving advice to her son. You know what I'm saying? And if this is King Solomon, his mom was Bathsheba. And Bathsheba, for a little context, she was the lady whose husband, right, was Uriah. And so King David basically saw Bathsheba bathing, fell in love with her, summoned her, to get her pregnant, and then had Uriah, her husband, killed in battle. And King David is the king of the battle that the Uriah is fighting for, right? So gets him killed in battle, has a baby, right? Ends up being Solomon. So it's very interesting. If this is King Solomon that they're referring to, it's very interesting that he's getting this advice from Bathsheba, considering that she was the woman that King David kind of, threw his morals out for. You know what I'm saying? And I personally relate to it. As you know, shout out to the women. I've been through this too. And my mom saying, listen to me, bruh.
Yeah.
Take heed to this. Listen to this. Don't do this, do that. Look out for this. Look out for these things. This is what you should want. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of times the first people that pour into us are those maternal figures in our lives. It's our mother, it's our grandmother, it's our aunts. Because we look at our pops or our uncles or the men for their actions. We look at our moms, they're the ones who's actually like speaking to us and give us instruction and direction and guidance for the most part, right? So even though he's a king and he's built for a throne, he's getting shaped at home first. So what's the first verses that you got?
All right, so the first verses, as we do, we always do a three theme breakdown. So the first theme is wisdom and responsibility and leadership, right? So verse 6 Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. So one thing I want to first state out, I love how Proverbs, the entire chapter, the entire book is laid out. It first instructs a man on how to act, what to do and what not to do. Then once he has himself together, on what type of wife he should be seeking. So that tells me one thing as a man: first, get yourself together before you start seeking that wife.
For sure.
But in these verses, right, as he said, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine to those that be heavy of heart. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. An addiction to temporary relief will lead to a lifetime of eternal pain. Pain is supposed to be a precursor to growth and an instruction for reflection. It's not supposed to be a permission slip for negligence. So one thing that I love is that she says, don't be addicted to these drinks. There's nothing wrong with having a casual drink here and there, but when it gets into the way of your responsibilities, when it gets into the way of you dealing with the pain that you have going on in your life, it has now become a problem. As a man, we're supposed to lead change. We're supposed to fix problems. And when we have a clouded or distorted judgment due to the fact of an addiction or reliance on a substance to take us out of our responsibility, we have now not only affected ourselves, but affected the people that we are supposed to lead, the people that we're supposed to impart change into, right? Like, I think, not speaking for myself, just speaking for people in generally, a lot of times we go to this liquor because it takes the responsibility off our shoulders.
Right.
I now get to do whatever I want, and I have an excuse for why I did those things or why I did not do those things.
Right.
Everybody always says, drunk words are sober thoughts. This is what you always wanted to do, right? But it's a lot more context into that statement, right? Because we have some terrible thoughts when we're sober as well. We just have that angel or that voice of God that prohibits us from doing that. We use our morality, we use our character, we use our judgment to understand the difference between the thoughts that we're having and the thoughts that are truly from God.
For sure.
But when you drink that liquor, you no longer have that barrier. Now you neglect your responsibility.
Right.
Now you judge people harshly. Now you talk recklessly to women. You end up in beds that you're not supposed to end up. You end up in areas you're not supposed to end up. And you say things that you don't mean, but that are detrimental to the development of other individuals. So understand, as a man, there's a lot of responsibility on your back, and you don't get the option of using alcohol or whatever substance you want to insert, as a distraction from your responsibilities. You can't run from ever. We have a priority. We've been given, as I said, such a power as a man on this earth, but that also comes with an even bigger responsibility.
Nah, facts, bro. I agree with you on that. I mean, again, this is why I didn't realize Proverbs 31 was not just about the women.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it starts off with basically king. If you want to be a king,
this is what you got to do.
This is what you should do. Like, it's the mother talking to King Lemuel, right? So she's coming from, all right, you say you a king. You say you want the throne. You say you want to lead. We say we want to be the man of the house.
You want a wife.
You want a wife. You know what I'm saying? You want to be submissive. Like, you have to do these things first.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do these things first. And that's why I don't call everybody king and queen. You will never see me say, yeah, king, yeah. I ain't never said that. Because if everybody's a king and queen, there ain't no kingdom. Everybody can't be a king and queen, and that's okay. Right? So if you read that and you like, what's wrong with drinking? What's wrong with a little wine? Maybe you just ain't meant for the throne. Because when I read it, I was like, ooh. I need to step it up. Because if this is how I'm viewing myself like I'm supposed to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you have to take heed, right? Verse 3 and 4, right? She's like, oh, my son, oh, son of my womb, oh, son of my vows, do not waste your strength on women, on those who ruin kings. So it's amazing that kings go to war with other kingdoms, with countries, with cities trying to take your head off. And it's not those people, it's not your enemies that ruin the kings. It's the women. Not attacking women in general, but the women, right, who ruin kings.
The lackluster woman.
So if you're not a woman that ruins kings, she ain't talking about you. But fellas, there are women out there that are more dangerous than a bullet. There are women that are out there that are more dangerous than a sword. Right? So when it says don't waste your strength, it's not just your physical strength, right? It's your focus, right? Because wherever your focus goes, that's where your strength goes. Wherever your focus goes, that's where your power goes. Right? So when your focus drifts to women, to alcohol, to social media, to OnlyFans, to Netflix, to whatever else, you may be thinking to yourself, ain't nothing wrong with this. I ain't hurting nobody. Yeah, you may not be hurting anybody else.
Hurting yourself.
But you hurting yourself. You stifling your growth. If you trying to be this now, if you're not trying to be a king, keep scrolling, bro. And that's cool. I ain't tripping. Cause we need somebody to do the work. No cap. I'm just keeping it thou wow with you. Some people gotta flip the burgers. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody not meant to be that person to think. And that's good because the more we grow as a society, some people are okay. It's like, nah, I don't even want to do that. Do you know what it takes to be CEO? Right, verse 4. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, to guzzle wine. Rulers should not crave alcohol. So let's self-reflect. I had to self-reflect to myself. I'm like, it seemed like, Thursday night, you start smelling the air. You know what I'm saying? You start smelling outside. You like, ooh, it's the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's Friday. Ooh, what we getting into? You know what I'm saying? You start having people hitting you up like, hey, bro, what you getting into for the weekend? And a lot of times when you have too much white space in your calendar, you end up falling into things that you shouldn't be doing. Right? So that's not for kings because that's where your strength goes.
Nah, I think you touched on a lot of important points. As he said, don't waste your time on these women that destroy kings. Women, if you feel like that's a dig at you, then we're talking about you.
Literally.
If you let that roll off your shoulder because you know who you are, then we ain't talking about you.
Right.
So understand that. And then the cravings as well. Like we have cravings for a lot of our desires, but a lot of our desires are destructive. So just be cognizant and understand where you're trying to be in life and understand what can go with you and what cannot. All right. So the second theme, the character and work ethic of a virtuous woman. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes right here. As I said, this is a poem about a perfect woman. Now I'm going to come back to that statement I just said where I said a perfect woman. I'm going to wrap it all together in a big bow at the end, but these are my next verses I got. All right. Verse 25, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. And she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, as a man, you definitely love when a woman does a grandiose display of like love and care and wisdom. But I would much rather take the woman that is consistent day in and day out.
Right.
As they said, strength and honor are her clothing. So when I think of strength and honor being her clothing, that means when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's hot, when it's cold, when there's a thunderstorm, when it's night, when it's day, this is who she is as a person. This does not change very easily. Don't get me wrong. We all have emotions and we can get out of character, but this says her character is her strength. Her character is her respect for herself. Her character is her obedience to God. It's more about who she is than it is her physical appearance. Don't get so caught up in the physical appearance of women. As you'll find later in the verses, as I said, beauty is vain. But also one of the more important things is she opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. When this woman speaks, it's not gibberish. It's not who's having sex with who, what girl done her wrong, why this girl talking bad about her. She says things that actually educate, that actually bring peace, that actually speak kindness to people. It's not destructive language. It's not just talking about everything that she see coming across social media, because we know women and men. I'm not going to just say women and men love to argue on social media about women ain't this and men ain't this, but ain't nobody giving no solutions. Her character shines through her voice. I heard somebody say, which I thought was so player. They said, I've made it a note in my mind to never call a woman beautiful until I first hear her speak. Until I first hear her speak. So the outside beauty of her, granted, we like that. You want somebody that's nice to look at. We all do. You know what I mean? But it gives more definition. It gives more importance to the inside character of who she is. Kindness. Men will sacrifice everything for their peace. I'm telling y'all right now, women, if you cause a man disruption, especially when he pay all the bills, especially when he holding you down, I promise you right now, you don't got very long in his area. Especially a real man, a God-led man. You don't have very much room in his life. So speaking wisdom, speaking kindness, helping educate, helping uplift is part of what a good wife is supposed to be.
Right.
It ain't say nothing about a good wife arguing with her dude. It didn't say nothing about that. But when we get so combative nowadays, I'm like, oh, you're trying to stifle me. You're trying to keep me from being who I am. You're trying to change. No, I'm trying to get you to be who God's calling you to be. And if that's a problem for you, then you can't be with me.
Right. Nah, facts, bro. I mean, it makes me think of like when some women say, I need a man who can handle me. Like, why would I want to go out in the world, overcome everything that it is that I'm dealing with in the world, and then have to come home and have to handle my wife?
Fight with you?
That's exhausting.
Supposed to love you. That's what I want to do.
I want to come home and there be love in the house. I don't want to come home and I have to handle you. Verse 13. This is what a virtuous woman is, right? I'm gonna just read a couple of things for you guys, right? Men and women, so you can understand when women are saying Proverbs 31, let's see what Proverbs 31 actually says. So yeah, we already talked about the man. Hey, don't be drinking all that wine. Don't be craving alcohol. Okay, don't be putting your strength in women. All right, cool. On the women's side, it says, verse 13, she finds wool and flax and busily spins it. She's like a merchant ship bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. She goes in to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She is energetic and strong, a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night.
She working.
She is a hustler. You know what I'm saying? And she is not more than a hustler. She's a businesswoman, right? So not only, I like the fact that it says she finds wool and flax and busily spins it, meaning she's finding natural raw materials and turning it into value, right? She's like a merchant ship. Like she's an entrepreneur spirit. She's an entrepreneur. She's gathering, she's resourceful. She's bringing in all of these materials, resources, right? Making sure the household is good, right? She has not just a business. She can do the business and she's at the crib, right? She does both. You know what I mean? Like showing that she's busily spinning it, right? Showing that she can go out to the field, inspect it, and then buy it. So she got her own money. She could buy it, right? She's inspecting it. She has investment, financial acumen. She has business acumen. She's financially literate. That's real estate. That's an investor. She just went out and bought real estate. And then what did it say what she did? She bought the real estate. And then what she do with it? With her profits, she turned it into a vineyard. So this is a business on top of a business. Right? And then it goes up and it says, she gets up and provides food for the whole household before everybody else is up. So she's an investor. She has businesses. She has the vineyard, right? She's energetic. She's a hard worker. And she's up preparing food for the whole house. If you're going to say Proverbs 31 woman, listen. Listen. You gotta come. What do you bring? Why would you ask me what I bring to the table? I can't believe you're going to ask me what I bring to the table. If you read Proverbs 31, you bringing a whole lot.
A lot to the table.
You bringing a whole lot, right? Like she makes sure her dealings are profitable, right? Her lamp burns late into the night. So her lamp burned late to the night and she's getting up early in the morning, right? So obviously these are things that you have to work towards, right? Even on the man's side, we have to work towards not putting our strength in women, not drinking alcohol, not guzzling wine, right? Like not losing focus and putting our strength in distractions. That's big for us. And this is big for you too. So if you're looking for a Proverbs 31 woman, or you're looking for a man that's the king described in Proverbs 31, like you both have to be already on that trajectory. I shouldn't have to try, or somebody else shouldn't have to try to pull that out of you. It didn't say, hey, you got to go look for this person and coach him up, and then they going to be, nah, they already on that. So when y'all get together, y'all equally yoked.
Equally yoked. I like the fact that a lot of these things described in this list of character and capabilities of a woman, none of them come off as a liability to me.
Assets.
Like they're all assets. They all produce more in my life, right? I've always noticed online, we have this argument about 50-50, right? I'm not going 50-50 with a man. Why don't a woman want to go 50-50 with me? Anything like that, right? And one thing that reading Proverbs 31 has taught me, okay, if you don't want to go 50-50, you don't want to pay no bills, you don't want to do nothing, that's fine, that's cool. But when I come home and I pay all the bills and I make sure everything is set, you better make that house that I've purchased a home. You better make that. That is your response. That's your job now. Like, don't think it's a get off. Hey. Don't think just because I pay all the bills, you know what I'm saying, that I'm providing, I'm protecting, that you don't have a job. Yeah, this woman had a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, and one thing y'all don't even realize when it said she gets up and cooks for the household, you know, a lot of women be like, oh, you want me to go to work, then come home and cook and clean, then come home and take care of the kids? You know what she was cooking for? The maids. Right. She was cooking for the maids. So that says a lot more about her character than it says about her complaining about how to. I was about to go for the tangent. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot more about her character than her complaining about what she will and will not do for her man. So like, I just want y'all to understand that there's so many important details about a good wife, right? And this is not to bash women, because men need to read this as well. They need to understand what they look for, who they are, and how that they support their women as well. I just had to say that. So the last theme, honor comes from godly character. Honor comes from godly character. So verse 30, favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. External beauty will always fade. Always fade. Time waits for no man, and time takes heed on nobody. It is going to affect us all the same. Body parts don't stay the way they used to stay. Face, you get, some people get liver spots, some people get moles, some people get limps. Time takes its toll on everybody. I love that Proverbs 31 does not mention beauty other than to say that it is vain.
The one time it mentions beauty.
To say that it is vain. And I'm speaking to myself right now because, you know, growing up, I think I had an addiction to beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen that as if she's beautiful, she's great. Yeah. I seen that as, and that's where it stops. And then the more that you get to know this woman, you realize there are different things that are important to you. And that beauty that you seen when you first got to her no longer stands the test of time. Yeah. Like it says, favor is deceitful. So the things that she wears, the way she look, if she throwing booty on Instagram and all that stuff, like it's a charm. It's meant to get your attention, but beauty may get our attention, but what is going to keep it? You know what I'm saying? That's going to be her character. That's who she is what's going to really keep it. So I want y'all to understand that. And then lastly, one of the biggest things that I want to bring up, as I said before, Proverbs 31 is a detail of like the perfect wife. So women, when you read this and you're going down your list and you're like, I don't meet that. I don't meet that. I don't meet that. Don't get down on yourself. Men, when you read this and you go down a list and you're like, she don't meet that. She don't meet that. I don't know if I can provide her with this. I don't know if I'm the reflection of this as well. Don't get down on yourself. The biggest thing that was said is that a woman that has the fear of the Lord is to be praised. So what that tells me is all of this stuff on the list is great, but you can't embody any of that unless you have a relationship with God himself. Right. You will never meet this standard. You will never check the list off in these boxes unless you develop your relationship with God. For you to look up this list and see where you fall short even further amplifies the necessity for God in your life. So as a man, when you're looking for a good wife, you look for a woman that fears God. Because if she loves God above all else, as your wife, she will never disrespect you, because that will be a straight disrespect to God. And vice versa. If a man has obedience and reverence for God and he loves God above everything else, woman, he will never disrespect you, because that will be a disrespect to the Lord. So understand, when you look at this list, all these things are great. And I love them. I think it's something that every man should read. Every man and woman should read. You should tell your kids about it. And this should be the new standard for how we operate. But the biggest portion is that all this comes via a direct relationship with God, so that he can develop you into this perfect wife, or he can develop you into this perfect husband. And without that, you will never amount to that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we'll close it up with verse 28 and 29. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. That's what the husband is saying, right? So for your children and your husband, which is the woman's, her household, who she's getting up and cooking for and working, like, she didn't do this for the praise, but that's what comes with it when you live with great character. I think the biggest thing and takeaway, well, not the biggest thing, but one of the takeaways that I'm gathering from this is that at the beginning, right, for the man, it says that don't guzzle wine, don't drink, don't, be craving alcohol, right? But it says, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless and see that they get justice. If we go further down, that's the man. If you go further down, you see the women, right? Her hands are busy spinning thread, right? She's getting up and cooking for her household and the servant. She's making sure she has no fear for winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes, right? She is going out and buying real estate for the house, right? And buying businesses. Everything that the man and the woman were doing were servants, right? Everything was focused on service. You feel me? You weren't a king because you were just a king. You were a king because you were focused on servicing the helpless, servicing those who needed it most, servicing your family. The woman became this virtuous woman because it wasn't about, oh, she was just beautiful or pretty. She was of service. She was servicing her household. She was servicing her husband. The husband was servicing the wife, right? So, like, my biggest takeaway is, like, along with Keith saying, strive for these things, but be focused on service, right? It's not about you. Neither one of these ends of the spectrum were focused on themselves. They were focused on the greater good of their family or society, right? So be of service. Be a servant. Be a servant leader, right? Do everything in your power as a husband to serve your wife and your family to the utmost of your ability. Do everything as a wife to serve your husband and your family to the utmost of your ability. When you do that, that's how, in my opinion, Proverbs 31 will be fulfilled. Mm-hmm. So I realized Proverbs 31 is not just for the women, it's for the men too. And this is possible when y'all locked in and y'all equally yoked.
Yep. Love that. Last thing I got to say is the praise part, right? I think we always miss out on that. Like I said, the husband and the children woke up and praised the woman, and that's vice versa. I think as all individuals, men and women, we need to start praising the things that align with this. I can admit that, you know what I'm saying, girl with her booty cheeks out on Instagram that got a double tap for me. And that's praising the wrong things. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's praising the wrong things. So as a man, I need to be more cognizant and, you know what I'm saying, intentional about the things that I give attention to.
Right.
So I need to praise the women that align with these things so that I don't send the wrong message about what is acceptable and what should be the standard. And the same thing for women. Like, y'all may double tap a man who's selling drugs or doing something that is not beneficial to his community or his people. Don't praise that. Praise the man that's actually doing something that aligns with the standard. So that's just something that we all need to do.
Freewenow
till it is backwards.
Yes, Sirski.